The voice you're about to hear is that of Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple has passed on into heaven. It seems as though not much has changed. Please take a listen. I want to change the planet. That's why I returned to my home city of Washington, D.C. I grew up in the suburbs, where some folks called it Reston, D.C. Growing up where I lived in the 1970s and 80s and into the 1990s after high school, in my college years and thereafter. Please bear with me as I don't freak out, share this message with you from Shirley Temple and then some of my own certain things. Let's ride with this. Peace, and please remember, the world is not going to change unless every single person who's straight up diabolical and evil completely changes in here or completely changes behind bars. One or the other, but we can't have them free. I believe in justice, and this is why some of these Hollywood executives got caught in the public eye just in a few years ago, yet they're still running free, creating commercial, international, influential, psychological art called theater, cinema, to everyone worldwide. We need to protect ourselves, our families, and really everything. Everything and everything. Watch this.
About producers and directors and all the stories we've heard about, hey kid,
well,
being famous, just being famous at that. How do you
this
handle it?
one guy, when I left Fox, I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. She went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed. And he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. And I thought he was a producer, but instead he was an exhibitor. And I'd never seen anyone naked before, except myself. So I had no clue about what was happening. And so it struck me so funny, I laughed at him, and I laughed uproariously. I had tears, you know, and he got infuriated. And he said, out, 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 go.
Did you tell your mother?
Well, I went down. I was very quiet. I went down and met her in the lobby of the administration building. She came out very quietly from Louis B. Mayer's office, and we walked hand in hand silently to the car, which was unusual. We got in the car driving home. I said, Mom, you won't believe what happened to me. And I told her what happened, and she got kind of quiet, and she said, well, you don't know what happened to me. And Louis B. Mayer wasn't as bad as Freed was to me.
But he tried
but he came on to my mother. And so we both decided that we didn't like MGM much. It was, you know.
And not to open up too many old laundries or cans of potatoes or get into too many closets around here. But I'll tell you, a few years ago when I was still living in a tent, I met some people who served the street people. And one of them actually met me with an idea to help paint a mural here in the city. Actually here in Anacostia, but over on Pennsylvania Avenue at the, what is it? I think I'd like to say it's the Ward 7 Precinct 6 station. There was a wall that needed painted white. And then when I was actually being helped with that, another person from Reston, Virginia named Dorian Allen reached out to help me. And he's a person I've known since childhood. Put me in touch with a friend named Terrence Heddick, whatever. So, but anyway, so like Dorian says, I know this guy Altieri, he's on the police force because that's one of the officers that was working with me. He's like, he's one of the white shirts. He's one of the inspectors. I'm like, cool. But then I just seen this video on Instagram. It's not the same man who I had worked with before. So I'm confused as to who's who and what's what. And he said Altieri was an old Pittsburgh hardcore man. So that's what Dorian said. And also Dorian goes by Budafly since we were children. But Craig Thompson of South Dakota Productions or whatever his thing is called, also at the White House Peace Vigil with Filipos, whatever his name is, and Craig and all them people. So you got this guy, Craig Thompson, who's so-called artist in the city here. who also goes by Buddha Fly. Woo! And so anyways, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Anyways, check out who this guy Altieri is on the video, who I believe is the actual police inspector. And the man who actually set up the whole thing over here, just a few blocks, maybe a mile and a half away from here, was a very, very large, rotund, light-skinned man. And I think shaved bald head, kind of big man. And I was with him and a couple other people. The guy from the, it was the guy from, a so-called church. He got tattoos covered all over me, said Jesus saved me or something on his stomach. He had a son there that day in a Mustang, and a woman named Rain, goes by Supreme Rain, who was named that by Erykah Badu back in 1996, I believe she told me. I met her at the camp that day too. And when I had met her, I actually had ended up being over at my friend's house after they burned all my stuff at that tent camp where I first met all of them. She actually came over to the house in Arlington and picked me up and took me out and bought me some clothing and stuff. Took me to lunch too. And then later dropped me off over at this mural site, which was months and months after I'd met them in the tent camp and after all my things had been burned. And then they actually burned a person in their tent. Sometimes in cities or towns or rural areas, you'll see the same person walking back and forth through your neighborhood with a real zombied, fucked out, like, ow, ow. Like, except where they're not. They're quiet, but they're kind of just like back and forth. Sometimes they're carrying a bag. So they burned him in his tent about a month and a half after they only burned my things. When I was with one of my so-called friends, when I was with their places. So like, nah. Check it out. Watch this. This is not the dude Altieri who I met. And then I'll just check out another version of this. What happened later.
Hello, my name is Sylvan Altieri. I'm the Assistant Chief with Patrol Services North, the Metropolitan Police Department. I'd like to talk to you all today about the safe exchange locations that MPD has for all of you. You know, the internet is an amazing thing. You can stay in touch with friends and family, you can meet the love of your life, and you can also shop online. And that's where our safe exchange locations come in. Across the country, we've seen an increase in people buying and selling on the social media marketplaces. Many times, this can end in robberies, where you agree to meet somebody you don't know at a location, and the worst happens. What we would like to offer you all is a safe place to come and exchange your goods and services, or maybe meet that love of your life. We have 7 police districts here in DC. Each one is staffed 24/7. You can come, make your exchange safely, and go on your way. Thank you, have a great day, and be safe. With Patrol Service.
There are hidden cameras.
You know, places like this, there's a camera here too. See that little hole?
Actually, ways that you can protect yourself. There are detectors, a hidden camera, and a GPS tracker detector that you can use. You can bring this when you're traveling.
Bring this little gadget everywhere I go, and I'm always looking at it, dude.
This is a military-grade hidden device scanner, okay? So not just hidden cameras. Locates unwanted GPS trackers, so like air tags, Apple tags that people can plant on your cars. Detects eavesdropping devices, prevents phone surveillance, detects pinhole cameras, so people can put those in like the little light sockets. You guys have seen the videos, okay? You've seen the videos.
It's definitely working. It's definitely working.
You think this is a bottle? But look at this. They're able to hide this. You know, places like this.
Hey, not to be too much current events focused, but anyways, the thing is like this, right? Here's the jam, right? It's kind of like this in life, right? Shit's weird, right? And here's the problem. Current events are crazy, and they just, they eat me. Are they eating you? People forget, and then they remember. Remember and forget this, but remember it, don't forget it. Just don't ever forget this stuff. Come on.
We look now.
Police told us from the start that they knew we hadn't done it. They told us they didn't care who done it. They told us that we were selected and that they were going to frame us just to keep people in there happy. That's what it's all about.
When I came out, my anger was at this level, up here. But that was in respect of myself. I like to think that over the years, that anger has now subsided a bit. But But in its place has come another anger, because when we got out, I've always said, if what happened to us meant that no one else would be wrongly convicted and tortured and framed, you could walk away. But there is more innocent people in prison today than there was 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. And of course, when you're in prison and you tell them you're innocent, the only thing you're guaranteed is a hard time on the merry-go-round. And I had plenty of that, moving from one prison to another. Out of the 16 and a half years that I was in prison, I probably spent at least 8 of that in solitary confinement. Saying it for years. I've been saying it for the last 10 years. The same thing is going to happen to the Muslim communities as will happen to the Irish. The only thing is, as I tell people when I'm speaking, don't do to the Muslim community what you did to the Irish. They allowed the Irish communities in England to be isolated. Don't do it to the Muslim community. We didn't get out of court. We didn't get our convictions overturned because of the government or the courts. I'll tell you what we got our conviction overturned. Public outcry.
Peltier's out. Garvey's name is cleared. However, Mumia is still incarcerated. And anyways, now I've seen Donald Trump's just issuing pardons when he gets in. Unusual, I guess, more than others. And he's letting some rappers out.
Isn't he? Donald Trump, they say he's the man for the people, isn't he? Mr. President Trump, are you going to now clear the name of Mumia and free him? And everyone knows you must. Here's the fun part. I don't think you care, and that's okay. But that's why I got tattoos and I shave my hair. So, and that's what I do. So, here's the thing, like, can you please do that?
Can you please let Mumia out? And let's stop torturing people, especially as commonplace practice in the United States, which is why I have disability. Torture from the police where I grew up in Fairfax County, as well as Virginia hospital centers in Arlington, Virginia. Believe it. And have a spectacular, beautiful source, creator, God, Jah, Buddha Focus Day.